Alrighty, we're going to start this moderate intensity interval training session with some rocking from all fours here just to get all the joints synchronized, working together. I'm going to step up into a half kneeling position here for some pelvic coils. So allow that front leg to come with you, but we're turning the belt buckle, sternum, face, all as one unit as a capsule, left and right as far as we can comfortably, not pushing it in this first round for sure. Trying to keep the ball of the big toe on the front leg down and trying to keep the back shin planted on the ground and not coming up off the ground. Rotating a few times back and forth here. Make sure we're breathing tall through the crown. Let the knee come with you a little bit. You can also play with not letting the knee move. Try either variation. We'll switch sides with a little pelvic march. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, notice how the belt buckle, sternum, bridge of the nose all move as one unit. I might get a little head turn towards the end with some reps. When I'm turning inward, that knee goes with us out, and when I'm turning outward, the knee follows a little bit and bends forward. Again, keeping the front ball of the big toe down, back shin connected to the earth or ground. Breathing, not holding our breath. Here we're going to stand up and go into a wide stance. We're going to do our coils here, or our spiral lunge, coil lunge. I'm leaving the feet in the same position here. Again, same idea. Now I'm taking the heel with me. Same idea as the half kneeling pelvic coil. We're taking the sternum, bridge of the nose, and belt buckle with us, all as one unit. And then I'm going to add a rotation of the upper body and turn the head a little bit at the end. So start with small rotations, then take the heel with you, then take the upper body, then take the head with you. You don't have to turn everything right off the bat. And you don't have to turn everything with each rep. You can play around a little bit. Now I'm doing a lunge as well, so dropping the knee after the rotation. So from the wide stance here, turning, taking the heel with me, dropping the knee, then rotating the upper body. This is quite a difficult isometric, so you don't have to go into this intense version right off the bat yet again. We're going to do 3 rounds total, so feel free to push it further later in the workout. We're going to do quite a few each side. Again, if you're feeling tired, do the lighter variations. Don't push it. And just try not to rest the knee on the ground. If you want a really big intensity, you'll keep the knee just hovering right above the floor. Next, we're going to go into our half kneeling position, then into our tabletop step up. We'll call this the tabletop coil. Same side arm to opposite side ribs, turning away from the up leg, keeping the ball of the big toe down on that right foot and not letting the knee come inward. We're doing breaths here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe we go a little further on those exhales. We're spending about roughly a minute in this position, exhaling, going further, feeling a big inner thigh stretch on that right up leg. We're going to use a march or a tabletop march to get into the other side, opposite hand, or same side hand to opposite ribs, exhaling, coiling away from the up leg, ball of the left toe stays planted, left knee doesn't come towards the body, it drives slightly outward, stretching that inner thigh, breathing deep into the low abdomen with those nasal inhales, exhale through the mouth with a little bit of pressure, and see if you can go a little further. So that's round 1. We're going to do 3 more. So coming back up into our half kneeling position, stepping a little wider with that right leg. We're going to rotate left and right, letting the knee come with us towards the end ranges of the rotations, maybe getting some extra hip shift like I've just done there, sending the hips back and forward. So you can increase how much range of motion happens with these coils throughout the body. Just make sure that everything's turning together and that you're tracking that knee along for the ride. Most importantly, ball of the big toe on that front leg stays down. Shin on the back leg stays connected to the floor or grass. We'll switch sides with a nice pelvic march here. Same thing on this side. More movement. See how I'm leaning forward almost into a hinge, getting some rotation now. Feel free to explore, experiment. How far can you go? Turning that back part into more of a hinge. See how the head is further forward than the hips. And in a hinging pattern, doing a little knee flossing there. So again, very much an exploration here that you can take and do what see what feels good, explore what feels good, what's needed, find your friction points, work them out. About a minute each side for all of these movements. And coming up into the wide stance spiral lunge or coil lunge. Heel comes with us. I'm actually taking the knee down to the ground, which I forgot I did, which is totally fine. It's just gonna be a little easier if you actually tap the knee all the way down. Now I'm hovering, which is a lot harder, and I'm getting more fluid now. So feel free to get more rotation as you get further along with these movements and build a more fluid, buttery, graceful flow. Just make sure you feel strong and fluid. Make sure we're not holding our breath. Nasal inhales always through these mitts. Exhaling with a little bit of audible pressure. Back and forth for a minute. Now we'll go back to our tabletop coils. Step up, same side hand to opposite side ribs yet again. And we're going to begin coiling away from that up leg. I'm going to take my leg a little wider and my hand a little wider for a bigger stance here. And this will change the intensity of the movement and where it's felt. So again, all of this can be explored. Obviously the previous two movements, there's a little more wiggle room with what you can do. Marching to the other side. The lower your head is down to the ground and the wider your stance, the more tension you're going to put on the inner thighs, using them as a kind of a lever anchor. See how my head's getting closer to the ground, shoulders getting closer to the ground. Instead of twisting, I'm more so lowering that right shoulder, getting a really nice sprawl here. Again, roughly a minute per side. We'll go back into our pelvic spirals or pelvic coils. And again, I'm gonna get a little more explorative as I go. Maybe I'll limit some things if I'm feeling something needs to be worked on. If I find a friction point, I can pause, take some breaths. You don't necessarily have to be twisting and moving the whole time. You can pause where it feels necessary or like you need some work there. Take some breaths, connect with the body, and try to get those friction points taken care of. So switching sides with the pelvic march. Again, exploring. I'm getting a little bit of head rotation now, which is totally fine. We just weren't doing that in the first round. Now we are, if you want to and it feels comfortable. So I'm getting a big kind of wringing the towel out effect. You can see with the lines in the t-shirt that the whole trunk is twisting now. Getting knee movement, keeping the front ball of the big toe down. Hands to the chest is a good way to monitor where things are in space, as well as hands to the abdomen. So we're going to do our last round of wide stance coil lunges. I'm going to go wider on this one, as you can see. I'm starting with just a little warm-up of just twisting while the feet stay planted. Now I'll take the heel with me. I'm going to do a full tap down all the way to the ground just to primer this movement. And then I'll start to add the isometric at the bottom without letting the knee touch and add the rotation. So again, try to take the whole upper body together, and then when you've taken it as far as you can, then add the arms and the head twist. Setting the knees down probably because I'm getting pretty tired with this movement at this point. So if you're feeling the same way, set that knee down for a breather or a little bit of an intensity adjustment. Doing some pelvic twists, doing some hopping, shaking it out, lots of tension after those. Take a little breather. And we'll do our last round of tabletop coil. So this one I'm a little tighter. Hand and knee are closer together. Hand and the up leg are a little closer together. and I'm trying to drop the shoulder and elbow down. Notice I'm not twisting into that rotation like I have in previous videos here on Patreon or wherever you're watching this if I end up uploading it unlisted for clients. And then notice I'm tracking back and forth with my hips now, keeping the heel down on the front foot, ball the big toe down on the front foot, and I'm taking my whole body with me, trying to feel that inner thigh as I do so. Again, narrow on this side, dropping the shoulder, untucking the back foot, retucking the back foot for some reason. Either is fine for you guys. Getting wider, longer with my stance from left knee to right foot here. Leaning forward and now tracking backward. So great hip mobility here. If this doesn't feel comfortable, just do the coils or the shoulder drop and do some breathing. Make sure we're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Audible. Not too much pressure though. Not like a power lifter. Coming out. All right, thanks for joining me and hope you guys enjoy.